This piece, I've never posted it, so most of you haven't heard it before. But this piece is about, it's about understanding some of the root causes of a lot of the problems that we see in society, whether it's here or whether it's abroad. This is called company property. Shackled and caged, rattled, enraged, grappled by these chains like cattle enslaved. Battling daily, famished but grazing all day on the crop. This work never stops. Life doesn't just go on every day, singing the same song, wondering how long will life just go on in this way. They told me I've been saved, I feel like I'm enslaved. No matter how many they've slain, I'm one of the few that was saved as a slave. Took me out of a cage and put me in chains. Do you know the saying, out of the frying pan into the fire? Well, we were all fine till you decided your desire for control, for ego, for self-proclaimed excellence, for wealth, for yourself. No matter where you're stepping in, always stepping in, maybe take a step out. Consider what it is this invasion is about. Until your superiority complex or me is inferior, me is less, as though you were better and educated, teaching me a lesson, as though somehow you're a blessing, an angel sent down from heaven, a descendant of some superior race, convincing me this was about the colour of my face. But wait, let me get one thing straight. It's not really about the colour of my face, the culture that I'm from or the land I grew up in. It's not about the ideas I hold unless they oppose what you come with. It's not about class or about social standing. These are just tools you use, go hand in hand with branding, marketing a cover for the truth, an advertisement of falsehood spread through the news, leading people away from the roots, the root cause, directing attention away from your flaws. This colonial, corrupted, one-sided gun game was all spread and justified in one name, in the name of the company. The good old all good company. Looking down, gazing lustfully at the commodities in front of me. Ka-ching, dollar eyes, is that money I see? You're all just money to me. Every one of you a money-making machine. I shall take thee in the name of the company. I snatch and I steal. I borrow with zeal. Borrowing with the intent to never return. Yet what gave me the right to borrow in the first place? I take what I can at will. Sugar, spice, tea, or even people in the name of the company. Anything is possible. When it comes to the company, anything is profitable. There are no bounds, nothing is off limits. When it comes to the company, it's all about the digits. Livid, angry inside and hopelessly living though. Is it really living when you're forced to be confined to four walls, offshore and open air prison, as though granting the freedom to move after being shipped as cargo, not even a ship crew? After being battered, bloody, bruised and blue, laid over one another amongst wooden planks. And you still expect me to be full of thanks because I was saved by the company? No, I was enslaved by the company. They gazed at me lustfully, in their eyes they were hungry. For me, for my body, for my ability to work and produce more money, for the power and control that I gave them, so they rich could live in their little havens, building empires with foundations deep-rooted in discrimination and enslavement. But it's all business. Yeah, we live this, I still live this, I'm still in this. I was a black slave then and I'm back a slave now. Back then I was forced into the workhouse and I'm still forced to work for a basic lifestyle. The illusion of freedom I am granted, wow. Freedom to live, freedom to breathe, freedom to constantly spend money, freedom to clock myself in and out, freedom to tick-tock, no other sounds. Freedom ain't freedom when you live controlled directly, indirectly. You still got a hold over me. Truthfully, I'm only free to be a slave to the system that proclaimed to save. Over time, the company changed, evolved, but only ever in the name of the company. The good old all good company. I am a slave in its closed factories, working away for virtually no salary in conditions that are unsanitary, but what can I do without food for my family? I travel on company slave ships, reinvented a silver Mercedes, vans and trucks with the promise of gold pavements, but with my luck, I'm driven into enslavement. You think Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery? He just needed men to fight his war. He ain't bravery. He didn't integrate the emancipated into society. Slaves hold up in ghettos, cycle of poverty. So when an opportunity of robbing jewellery or dealing food arises, it's easy to see why crime engulfs underclass communities. Imprisoned and forced to work as slaves, prisoners are cheap labour, all whilst the company claims to be a white saviour, a rehabilitation service, when really and truly the company just needs more workers. It's institutional racism, it's institutional slavery. Institutions themselves are slaves to the company, but in the name of the company, anything is possible. When it comes to the company, anything is profitable. From the acceptance of the affluent attacking Africans, barbaric and belligerently beating and battering them, British colonial corrupt causes causing chaos, deliberately downplaying dirty displays of endorsement of every form of fundamentalism, fundamentally funding the ferocious forcing of freedom down your throat, and we gurgle the garbage, grateful for granting us hope, but it's hopeless when you're incarcerated in igloos of ignorance, because imperialism is imperative in imprinting and implanting its importance. Imparting its ideas, important indigenous intelligence, and we're just jamming to jams of juvenile gibberish, all whilst the khakis keep killing. Littering our lands with lost lives, land left lifeless, lives lost, masked mercenaries emancipating millions of minds, but minds not kneeling for no nonsense. I'm not neglecting the numerous numbers of orders, ordering others to obey our orders, open our own pockets, pickpockets, pockets porous, pleading the poor to pour pee into the pockets of politicians. Persistently preying upon people posing questions, querying the quibbles. Quickly quit when quizzed by well-equipped status quo grim reapers, ravaging, ransacking irrelevant rhetoric readers of real resonant and relevant sentences. Society is sentenced to senseless savagery. Slaves slain and somehow saved, so insane, so satanic a tragedy. The tackling the torrential talk of torture and tyranny undermines and underlines your unintelligence, irrelevance uppercut, violating vertically. On the verge of verifying with words of wizardry, you wisen up. Whitewashed extraction of xenophobic rhetoric yearns to yank your yarns of zealousness, zanily zipping up the truth. And that's why they're afraid of the news, so they control its output to control the truth. When we all start educating about the legislations that allow racism in all its forms to have basis, we'll find that all paths lead to one name. In that one name, all corruption is proclaimed. In the name of the company. The good old all good company. You can all try and run from me, but suddenly you'll realize you're all under me and come running back to me. I'll put you back in my factory, unchained but still shackled to me. That's how business runs happily. And it's all business in this world of insanity, this world where foreign policy caters to my needs. I am a colonizer of land, mind, soul, and everything in between. And you all belong to me. Every one of you is company property. Jazakallah khairan.